This is my favorite way to work on hip stability. This exercise is called Pelvic List, and I learned it originally from Katy Bowman's work. I've been using it for years and it made a big difference in my hips. I add a little twist to the original exercise at the end. So for the exercise, we'll need 2 cork blocks. Foam blocks can be too soft and wobbly, so I like using cork blocks. I'm going to stand right over the seam where the blocks meet each other so that my entire foot is on the blocks. Now I want you to find the bony landmarks on the front of your pelvis, ASISs, and I like pressing my fists into them so that, like headlights on the car, I make sure that they're leveled and that they're shining forward. One is not in front of the other and not lower. So my left foot is on the block and my right foot is dangling, and it's already quite challenging for my left hip. I make sure I'm not sinking into the hip. I level out my headlights. From here, I also want you to check if you're standing vertically or if your hips are a little bit more forward. It's also very important to make sure that you're not tilting forward or back. So when you're standing on one foot, make sure the hips are not over your toes, but right over your ankles. If we were to draw a line from the middle of your hip down, or drop a belt or something with a weighted end, so that weighted end will end up right over the ankle bone. So that would be off alignment, hips in the front, and this is right over the ankle. So from here, we will let the headlight on the right sink down. That will make the right foot move closer to the floor. And then I'll push into the left foot, level out my headlights. And if I keep pushing through the left foot, the left headlight will be slightly lower than the right. And this is the exercise. So you let the right headlight drop a little bit down, and then you push into the left foot, you level them out, and if you keep pushing, the left headlight will be slightly lower than the right. And that's a lot of work. Go nice and slow, and only do enough repetitions to build some heat and awareness in your left hip. Now we'll take a little break. Take a step back, bring your left foot onto its heel, and then see if you can hinge forward over your straight leg without tucking your tail under. And that's a little stretch for your hamstring and your calf muscle. And then you come up and we switch sides. So right foot now will be on the blocks. The left foot is dangling. Now I'm going to check my headlights. They're leveled. Now the left one will go lower. And then I push into the right foot. The hip moves in. The headlights are leveled. And if I keep pushing through the right foot, the right headlight will actually end up lower than the left. Lower down. Nothing else changes in the body. The knees stay straight. And now you're pushing into the foot, leveling out the headlights, and maybe you can even make this one go slightly lower. A couple more times. Breathing through the nose, making sure that we keep the pelvis, the hip right over the ankle. As you go into this pelvic list and come out of it. So trying not to go here or bend the knee, just staying in the vertical line. You can notice if this side feels more challenging than your left side. Okay, one last time. Stepping down, come up onto the heel of your right foot. Soften the left knee and hinge forward without tucking your tail under. So the pelvis stays untucked. And now you can try pivoting on the heel for some different sensations in the hamstring. And now come back up. So we'll switch sides again. We'll go onto the left side, and I'll show you that little twist towards the end. So left foot on the block, leveling out your headlights. Let the right one lower down, pushing into the left, level out. So keep it level this time, and I will move the headlights to shine towards the left side. What this does, it puts our left hip into internal rotation. We move the pelvis in relation to the root of your left leg. And then you come back forward. So the lights are shining straight forward. And then shine them over to the left, back to the front, and then shine slightly on the diagonal to the left. So from here, we'll try the hip hinge. Bending the front knee, stay in that internal rotation through the hip, touch the ground with the toes, come up, rotate back to center, rotate over to the left, headlights are shining here, bending the left knee, sending your left sit bone back, not tucking the tail under, touch, come up, come back to center. One last time. So the headlights are leveled, rotation over to the left, bending the knee, sending the left sit bone behind you, not tucking the pelvis, and come on back up. And let's stretch the hamstring again. Come up onto the heel, hinge forward without tucking the tail under. Come up, and then we'll do it on the right. Right foot on the blocks, checking the headlights, they're leveled. Doing a couple of pelvic lists here to wake up that side hip. Now level out the headlights. Now rotating to shine the lights to the right on the diagonal, getting into that internal rotation. Now we're going to hinge forward, touch, and then come back up. Rotate back to center. And over to the right, hinging. Keep your pelvis untucked. Stay in that internal rotation, out, and come back to center. Make sure that the headlights are leveled, rotating, and now bending the right knee, hinging forward, sending the right sit bone back behind you, touch the ground, come up, come back to center, step back, come up into the heel of the right foot, keep your pelvis neutral, hinge forward, pivot on the heel, and then unhinge, shake out the legs. I hope that you enjoyed this exercise. I wanted to mention that an added bonus to doing it often, in small doses, but more often, is a way more awareness around how we hold our hips over our feet. It's very often that we end up with our hips slightly in front of our ankles in our everyday life, like in the kitchen, at the countertop, or holding a baby on your hip. So when you do the pelvic list often enough, you learn to feel when you end up here, and you will self-correct to bring the hips to be over the ankles. And that really helps your core to engage and your lower back to get more length and be pain-free, hopefully.